Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And it's Golem F. Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We will not have Michael Bullock here tonight with us, guys. He is preparing for the Special Olympics plunge, polar bear plunge. He's about to do the super plunge, guys. That means he's about to go into the waters for 24 hours. He takes a dive every hour on the hour between tomorrow and I guess it ends on Sunday, afternoon.
Yep.
We wish our buddy Michael Bullock the best with
He'll be
all
back Sunday night.
plungers. Basically, all the donations goes to the Special Olympics in Rhode Island, and it's a worthy cause. It's at Salty Brine's Beach, which is out, I believe it's in Cranston or Coventry. I know it's in one of those cities. They're going to get to do this. And, man, Michael Bullock, you're
how he does it,
but man, you're a warrior for doing this. That's all I'm going to say about that.
It's actually in Narragansett, MF.
In Narragansett. All right. So
yeah, it's in Narragansett, and I spoke to him earlier, and he obviously won't be on tonight. He obviously won't be on tomorrow, but I can confirm he should be back Sunday night.
All right. So with that said, we're just going to dive right on in. We're going to start it off with SmackDown Live, and yeah, it started with Brock Lesnar. Lesnar comes out. Before he does anything, Sami Zayn came out, and they had a little bit of a pretty interesting storyline. So I would say it was interesting. This was an interesting storyline more than anything else. Brock Lesnar kind of egged on Sami Zayn to have him fight for the Universal title tonight, and we actually did get a Universal title match. So later in the evening, it would be Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns for the title. But I thought this was not bad to start the show. I mean, Lesnar is massively over, super over now with the fans. Anthony Florio, it's yours. I thought this was an interesting way to start SmackDown.
Absolutely. I mean, Brock Lesnar questioning who Sami Zayn was, then bullying him into taking his title shot tonight so the Beast can slide into the day one main event was a great bit of business. Lesnar's sense of humor is a really underrated element of his performance when he is allowed to express it like he was here. Like Sami Zayn or not, and even though I'm not a big fan of of this lame Duckman character, I much preferred his Underdog of the Underground character when he first came in. This lame Duckman character does nothing for me, as does Michael Bullock. I can speak on behalf of him. But despite that, Sami Zayn has been one of the unsung heroes of WWE programming over the last year, and he played off Brock Lesnar perfectly. The facial expressions, body language, and timing were all on point and made for an entertaining opening segment. And more importantly, it set up the night's main event and gave fans something to tune into later in the broadcast. So, could lame Duckman do the unthinkable? Could lame Duckman actually unseat the tribal chief as the Universal Champion? We'll get it. We'll address that at the end. But for right now, entertaining segment. Maybe I could say segment of the. You can make an argument easily for segment of the night here. Great to see Brock Lesnar back. I mean, for the longest time he was not over. I mean, this was the guy that the fans always soured on. I always soured on because he would always, whenever he would be a champion, he would take the title and defend it like 7 or 8 times a year, or like every 5 or 6 months or whatever. But I guess the fans have forgotten about that, and he's, no pun intended, ridiculously over right now. I mean, they absolutely love this guy. It's unbelievable. So I'm very surprised with this. So, but hey, to each their own, I guess. So great way to start. So not much more to say. MF, let's get into our first match of the night, a women's match, I understand.
Quick thought, just a quick thought. I think the reason why Lesnar's getting over is because he doesn't have Paul Heyman on the side. and because of how massively a heel Roman Reigns is, I think WWE kind of, and because of the fact that he's not as close with Paul as he was in the past, I think that's why you kind of see the way that it's going more than anything else. So that's just my thoughts alone. Yes, the first match was a women's match. It was Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler. Sasha Banks wins it. 9 minutes even. Anthony, it's yours.
That's right. Yeah. Let's see. Solid match here. With the boss and the Queen of Spades here. 9 minutes and change there. So I could probably give this easily about a solid 3 for this, maybe 3 1/4 at best. The only criticism I have is imagine how much more this match would have meant before Shayna Baszler was beaten into mediocrity and treated as an afterthought. As it was, the match was solid and put over Sasha Banks as a gritty, tough babyface who absorbed what Baszler threw at her and still managed to pick up the win. Why the production team put together a video package of the Queen of Spades just to beat her straight up in a match that doesn't appear to have any real impact on things moving forward is a question only WWE officials can answer. Sasha Banks feels like she is in a holding pattern at this point, which begs the question, where is Shotzi? Are we going to pretend like she doesn't have unfinished business with the boss? If so, it is yet another example of the company heating someone up only to cool them off and move on in near record time. Why even bother at that point? But other than that little criticism, solid match, 3, maybe 3 1/4 at best. So solid match here. And MF, I hate to say it, but Shayna Baszler, I mean, NXT was practically her show, and now, and ever since she's come up to the main roster, aside from a couple of women's tag team title reigns, she's done absolutely nothing, and they made it look like a damn joke. Ridiculous.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're gonna have to wait and see how it plays out, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Shayna was the top girl at NXT. And now she has been relegated to almost enhancement. I'm not going to say enhancement, but she is a shell of what she used to be. There's no doubt about it. So next up we had was Los Lotharios. Angel and Alberto goes up against Eric and Ivar of the Viking Raiders. And Los Lotharios steals the victory in 1 minute and 35 seconds. We're not going to get into that. We'll just play off that. Then we had what was supposed to be a one-on-one match. It was Jey Uso versus King Woods. But here's the kicker here. If the New Day, if King Woods wins the match, then we would have a culmination of a rematch of the greatest battle of all time. The 2 greatest tag teams go at it for the Smackdown Tag Team Championship at day 1, January 1st from Atlanta. Anthony Florio, it's going to happen. King Woods wins the match in 2 minutes via disqualification, meaning this was the championship committee moment. And now it is confirmed. It will be the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston versus Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, day 1 SmackDown Tag Team Championship on the line.
Yes, and that's great. That really is great. But once again, I got to be critical here.
Oh yeah.
Like the previous 2 segments before that, this was far too quick to be meaningful. The match between Xavier Woods and Uso never got out of the gate before the sudden, abrupt conclusion that looked like it may set up a tag team match, but ultimately led us backstage to a vignette involving Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Why WWE felt the need to jam-pack so many segments on this show without giving any of them any real time to click with audiences is a mystery. Instead of delivering quality segments, which this show has been known for many years, the creative team appeared content to shove as much as it could onto the show without worrying if any of it was any good or had enough time to breathe. Looking at you, NXT 2.0. As a result, it was the third segment in a row that did nothing for anyone involved and existed simply for the sake of existing. I'm going to NA the match, but the only positive that I have coming out of this MF, the Usos and the New Day for the tag team titles one more time.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, how many instant classic matches have these teams given us over the years, including, to this day, the greatest kickoff show match in history?
Yeah.
SummerSlam 2017, 4.5 star, damn near 5-star classic kickoff show match. On the kickoff show, nonetheless. Damn near 5-star classic they had when the Usos won the Smackdown tag titles. SummerSlam 2017 kickoff show. Go out of your way to see that, because that was a damn good match. Sin City Street Fight, that was hella fun. Of course, the first ever tag team Hell in a Cell at the Hell in a Cell event. I mean, I could go on and on about these legendary battles that these two teams have had. I don't like the way they got there, but I am hoping that come New Year's night, we end up getting the payoff, and these two teams pay off in what should be a potential show stealer match.
Oh, it's going to be a barn burner. If
Absolutely.
these go at it. If they give them the ample time, like you said,
which they should,
and do the right thing, this show's that match is gonna be amazing. So no, I there's no argument there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no surprise. So with that being said, I'll wrap it up. NA for the match. Don't like the way they got there, but the only reason I'm even positive about any of this is because, I mean, I got a good feeling because of their history. I got a good feeling we could be in for a very, very likely show stealer come New Year's night.
Yep. So then after that, we had a promo segment with Charlotte Flair, interrupted by Toni Storm. And let's just say, okay, we didn't really talk about it because it was almost campy comedy with pies and whatnot. Well, this time, the goose got the gander. Basically, it was Charlotte that ended up getting pied and everything else. But now there is a payoff on this one too. I believe. I don't know if it was next week or if they're waiting for day one. But Toni Storm, Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's title is definitely going to be on the line. It's going to definitely be on the line. I'm not going to waste any time with this. We're just going to move on. Then we had Sheamus versus Cesaro. Sheamus wins in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. All right. This is the match that really annoyed me. Because, again, like everything else this show has been, this could have been a classic. These two guys wrestle so good. Mm-hmm. The rivalry is great. It's one of the best battles, yet you give them less than 4?
WTF?
I mean, yeah. I mean, no SmackDown.
Nah, honey.
This is like, what? Why were you rushing this? I know there's so much you want to fill in and gap, but this was not the thing to do. This was not the cart to pull. I mean, you could have given more time for the matches tonight, because the matches, if you look at the fight card as a whole, you're thinking, damn, this is actually a pretty good show for SmackDown. This was set it up to be a pretty decent night. But they left bitter taste in the mouth each and every time, because the booking, the setup, the times for the matches, you never gave a chance for these matches to breathe or give it life. And, oh, man. I mean, Anthony, I might be preaching to the choir here, but what on earth? I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus, We've
Sorry,
seen
Sheamus.
wars with these two guys.
Clash of the Champions. Clash of the Champions 2016, seventh and final match in that best of 7 series. Anyone? That near 5-star they had?
Oh man.
Right, the clunky finish we got in that one.
But and now here we are walking away with a 4-minute match. Sheamus wins.
Baloney.
But
all right.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Sheamus and Cesaro, 4 minutes. What were we watching tonight? Were we watching Friday Night Smackdown? I mean, last time I checked, it's Friday night, right? This isn't Tuesday night. This isn't NXT 2.0. This is NXT 2.0 stuff we're getting here. I mean, for goodness sakes. Criminy. I mean, but before I get to my personal thought, let me get into my professional thought here. Imagine booking Sheamus and Cesaro, hyping it prior to the show, then giving it less than 5 minutes of ring time. It is apropos given the frustrating nature of this show, which has featured a ton of segments that have benefited no one. That was certainly the case here as Cesaro was steamrolled by Sheamus, who was fighting to quote unquote show Ridge Holland how it's done. Cool. The established Sheamus beats an over babyface in a few minutes, damaging his opponent's credibility while doing what? Proving he is superior to the guy the company is hoping is a key player in its future. This did not hit like creative thought it would, and worse off, hurt Cesaro in the process. What a strange show up to this point. I mean, my gosh. I mean, 2 stars is all I can give it, but you would think announcing this match, this match was announced ahead of time. I got it in my daily WWE email. They usually send emails with a rundown of the show's cards for Raw, NXT 2.0, and Friday Night Smackdown. And I got the Smackdown card, and I looked at it. I'm like, I saw Cesaro, I saw Woods versus Uso, and I saw Cesaro versus Sheamus. When I saw those matches, MF, I'm going to tell you something. When I saw those 2 matches, I'm like, we got 2 potential fight of the night contenders here. Really. And then from there, and then we get this. That other match didn't matter. This didn't matter. They've had so many great matches over the years, and then they go and give us this dribble. Blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy. So I don't know what else there is for me to say on this. 2 stars. You would think it would be a show-stealing, be-a-man fight. No. Like something we would see on NXT 2.0. Sorry. Move on.
And then it leads us to the main event of the evening, which was Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. But the thing was, Brock came out, jumped Sami before the match even got started, and then Roman just came out, guillotine choke, and ended it in 15 seconds. Which means now, ladies and gentlemen, Sami is out of the picture. Roman Reigns will now have to fight Brock Lesnar at day 1, and the Universal Championship is on the line. So, the whole night, Brock went in, started to goat Sami into taking the fight, taking the match, going for the title. Brock destroys him, destroys Sami Zayn. Then the Usos come in, probably added a little extra. And then Roman just guillotine chokes Sami and just ends him in 15 seconds. Now, if Sami Zayn wants to cry conspiracy, he's going to have a lot of fans on his side on the conspiracy theory. Because you had Brock, the Usos, then Roman. Talk about a guy who never even got a fair shot, Florio. Sami never got a fair break on this. He got demolished and steamrolled in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, he did. And well, look who he was going up against. For goodness sakes, he was going up against the damn tribal chief. What else did you expect?
But you have to also understand he got railroaded by Brock. Brock railroaded him before Roman even got a chance to get him.
Yeah, this is very true. So the show started and ended with its best. Brock Lesnar. The Beast smiling as he made his way to the ring was ominous enough. Zayn's complete obliviousness in relation to the danger he faced anytime he shared the ring with Lesnar was comedic, as was Brock propping him up in the corner and patting his chest for good measure after whooping his ass. Roman Reigns taking advantage of it all despite knowing the date with Lesnar awaited the winner was interesting and suggests the tribal chief may be just arrogant enough to think he is superior to his longtime rival. Kudos to Sami Zayn for knowing exactly what his role was and executing it to perfection. He is a threat to steal the show out from underneath anyone that shares the ring with him yet tonight. He worked extremely well with Lesnar to create some fun, humorous, entertaining segments that stood head and shoulders above anything else produced for tonight's show. On another note, if Naomi versus Sonya Deville actually goes down as advertised, that will be red hot. Fans are ready to see Naomi get her hands on the megalomaniacal WWE official and pay her back for months of frustration and disappointment. It just feels like the wrong setting for that match, so do not be surprised if that doesn't go as planned. But obviously this will be a no rating, obviously, but Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar one more time. I'm not at all surprised. I mean, we had a feeling that they were going to keep the feud going after the somewhat clunky finish we got at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. So, yep. So hopefully this will be the blow off. Hopefully they keep the title on Roman.
I think Roman will successfully defend. I could see them do another clunky finish, but I do believe Roman will win it because, like you said, I think the one guy right now that they're probably sizing up to possibly take the title,
Drew,
is McIntyre because of the fact if you think about it, Drew never even got a shot at the number one contender. He never even got a chance to fight for the title, to fight in that battle royale. And and I think he's gonna have a very, very, very vengeful attitude going in. They still got him preoccupied with some other stuff right now.
Yeah, ridiculous stuff. Especially that ridiculous segment tonight.
But eventually, because this can go two ways. And I think the most logical thing it's going to be is Drew wins the Royal Rumble in January.
Second time in 3 years.
I think he's going to do it. I think he'll win the Rumble.
Agreed.
That's his ticket.
To Mania.
That means he'll be able to fight Roman at that point.
And then dethrone him. And then finally dethrone him.
And then I think the long reign will finally end. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And I'll get the count on that in just a moment. But that's exactly where I was heading towards, MF. You're absolutely right. I mean, I do think they are setting up Drew McIntyre to eventually be the guy to dethrone to dethrone Roman Reigns, rather. We've been used to long Lesnar reigns, but I think Roman will eventually surpass Brock Lesnar's longest run, because Brock Lesnar holds the record for the longest Universal title run. He held that thing for 504 days. And
Roman's going to get very dangerous. I think he should be able to get close enough where he could actually surpass it at that point.
Yeah, he won the title August 30th of 2020 when in another one of the WWE's idiotic moves, which is the many on their list, putting a secondary pay-per-view exactly 1 week after SummerSlam. I mean, granted, it was the Thunderdome era. I get that and all that, but it was still a trifle unnecessary. His reign right now is 460 days. He needs another 45 days to break Lesnar's record, and I think he's going to do just that. And I believe that the Mania match will very likely be the night 2 main event. just like it was this past year.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, his reign would end. He would shatter Lesnar's run. If it ends on April 3rd of 22, we're looking at a reign of 581 days. So I think that would be the perfect time to do it. Give Drew that crowning achievement in front of the fans that he did not get at 36 because it was in the Performance Center. And this past year when they actually put Lashley over him, which was honest to goodness the shocker of WrestleMania. None of us saw that coming.
Yeah. We all thought that Drew was walking out champion, and
no, they kept it on the Almighty, and he held that thing all the way until September before Big E got him. So, but anywho, that's really all there is to say on this. No rating for the match, but anything Brock Lesnar did was great. Brock Lesnar was the star of this show tonight. Love him or hate him, and well, the fans obviously love him. So, and it was definitely well worth the wait to come back from that quote unquote indefinite suspension, 5 weeks. So, yeah, so he was definitely the star tonight, and I'll admit it. And him and Roman, I mean, they've always had good matches together. I mean, yeah, there've been a couple of clunkers here and there, but the two best matches they had were WrestleMania 31 and Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. I think this one will probably be just as good, maybe better. You never know. So depending on how much time they give it. So I got a good feeling about it. So we'll see. But yeah, I do believe Roman will eventually go over. So not much more to say here. MF, if you haven't given your thought yet, I believe if you haven't given your overall thought, give it. Or if not, then we'll move on to our overall review on what ended up being, spoiler alert, an NXT 2.0 like show tonight.
Yeah, this was bad, man. I don't think there was anything redeeming on this one. I'm gonna have to give it one of the lowest ratings I think we've ever given it. For me, it's a low end, and I hate to say this, but I think it's gonna be. I gotta say 3 out of 10. I mean, there was only 2 at the very beginning. It was all right, and then there was maybe a couple of matches that really stood out. But other than that, I really got nothing else to add. So I'm sorry, guys. This was bad. So 3 out of 10 for me. Anthony, go.
Yeah, the Lesnar stuff, and you only had one good match on the night, which was Sasha Banks and Shayna Baszler. That was the only good match you had. But other than that, everything else was meh. Like I said, last time I checked the calendar said Friday night. Are you sure? It felt more like Tuesday night to me. Because this was like it's almost like we were watching an NXT 2.0 show, for goodness sakes. And San Antonio is a solid venue. I mean, AT&T Center, they've done a lot of shows there. They've done a lot of Smackdowns there. They've done a lot of Raws there. They've done some pay-per-views there, including the 2007 Royal Rumble. And of course, Vengeance 2011, which featured that infamous ring break with the Big Show and Mark Henry, as we all remember. So, and of course, that legendary Monday Night Raw, which in a match that MF and I consider our all-time favorite Monday Night Raw match, the 5-star classic, Shawn Michaels and Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship, that final Raw of 2003. Despite that clunky finish, we still gave it 5 stars. We didn't care because that match was too damn good. But who cares? But anywho, and next week you're going to a venue that has a lot of history with WWE. As of now, I believe it's still called the Staples Center as of right now.
Yep, it's still Staples Center. They don't make the switch until Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, that crypto.com arena or whatever they're calling it now. So and next week you got Jeff Hardy against Happy Corbin. Who cares? But Naomi and Sonya, that's something to keep an eye on. Even though I don't feel overly confident about it, but we'll have to wait and see. But other than that, all I can say is skippable show. Don't bother watching it unless you want to see Brock Lesnar pound an idiot and Sami Zayn. I mean, feel free, him and Roman actually. But that and the Shayna Baszler match, So I'm actually going to go a little bit lower than this on this MF. I think 3 is a little generous, if I'm being honest with you. I'm going 2. 2 out of 10 for me. 1 for the Sasha and Shayna match, and the other for the Brock Lesnar stuff. Other than that, skip everything else. That's all there is to say on that, because it was nonsense. And the 2 matches, Woods versus Uso, Cesaro versus Sheamus, potential show stealers, and we ended up getting what we got tonight. Horrible. Monday Night Raw, though, oh boy, I mean, Raw is looking real good. I mean, we got Big E versus Kevin Owens in a steel cage match, and we also have Edge on Miz TV. If it's anything like the segment we saw on Monday night, we could end up getting another good segment there. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So Monday Night Raw, FedEx Forum, Memphis, Tennessee, and of course, Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's Championship. All of that to go up against the biggest Monday Night Football game of 2021 so far. And the Tony and Mikey special, oh, by the way, our game of the week, spoiler alert, which will be our main event tomorrow night on NFL Saturday. The New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Get ready. So it's going to be a big Monday night. I can't wait. So 2 out of 10. Sorry, MF, but, it is what it is. So with that being said, let's move on to AEW Rampage.
AEW Rampage, let's start it off with Sammy Guevara versus Tony Nese. Guevara wins the match in 12 minutes and 55 seconds. Great opener. Solid match. Great battle. 3.5 stars. Really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Oh, yeah. And oh, by the way, Tony Nese is all elite.
Yep.
It's official. They made that official earlier tonight. And let me see. Oh, yeah. Tony Nese has had a couple of other matches in AEW, but this was his chance to show the majority of the AEW audience what he can do between the ropes. Not only was he up for the challenge, but he made a big impression. These are 2 guys who can work on the mat if they want to, but their biggest strength is their agility. Some of the moves they hit looked incredible and showed how both guys are capable of doing things most humans would deem impossible at first glance. A few moves could have been sold more to make them look more effective, but that is a minor quibble when the action is as good as it was in this contest. This alone was better than anything we saw on SmackDown tonight. Far better. And this was a tape show. Go figure. 3.5 stars. Teetering on 3 3/4. 100% agree. Move on.
Unfortunately, we did have a match that was very reminiscent of SmackDown Live tonight.
Of course.
Jade Cargill goes up against Jenna Kai. Jade Cargill wins in 34 seconds.
And this Janai Kai girl supposedly was a student of Thunder Rosa.
Of Thunder Rosa.
You probably know that history more than I do.
Yeah.
What does Rosa have, a wrestling school or something?
She's got a wrestling school down in Texas. I think it's in Corpus Christi or something like that. But yeah, and I mean, it didn't even like 30 seconds. 30 seconds, 34 seconds, and Jade Cargill just straight up. Yeah.
Yeah.
This girl didn't even break a sweat.
Well, I'll say this. This was a dud, obviously, but Jade Cargill getting easy, definitive wins in her first handful of matches was the right way to book her. But now she has got to start showing us more. She can't get by without proving she can do more than a couple of moves anymore. Her upcoming match with Thunder Rosa is going to be a big test for her. She won't run over the former NWA Women's Champion like a steamroller. So she is going to have to prove she is more than just a physique and some decent catchphrases. If Jade Cargill can show us that she can have a good match, her chances of becoming the face of the women's division one day will go way up. And I'll tell you this right now, MF. As of right now, as much as I can't stand her and that ham and egg are with her, and I know Bullock would agree with me on that, as much as I can't stand her, I got to be honest with you, she is in my opinion, she is the odds-on favorite to win the TBS Championship tournament.
Yes, I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if, when we get to that first TBS show next month at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, regardless of whether it's Ruby Soho or Nyla Rose, even though I'm leaning more towards Ruby myself. But regardless, Jade Cargill is going to be your inaugural TBS Women's Champion. If she doesn't, I'll be shocked. So, dud. Nothing more. I just wanted to get that off my chest. But you would think a protege of Thunder Rosa would put up somewhat of a fight, but
not even close. Main event: FTR versus Pac and Penta El Zero Miedo. Ray Phoenix, unfortunately, was unable to be on the show. I think they said it was logistical problems. I guess travel issues for Ray. But FTR wins the match, 18 minutes and 19 seconds. Obviously, fight of the night. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. But I am going to punish it a little bit because of Malachi Black using the mist. That opened the door for FTR to win the match. Didn't really need that. I understand why, but this was a damn good tag team fight. You didn't really need the overbook finish on this one. That's just a little nitpick from me. 4.25 to 4.5. Florio, go.
I'm gonna bump it down to 4.25. We've seen FTR face the Lucha Bros in a few different situations, but subbing in Pac for Phoenix helped change up the dynamic a bit to make this feel fresh. As expected, the in-ring action was great. FTR is one of the best tag teams working today, and both Pac and Penta are among the most talented high flyers in the world. These four guys represent some of the best pure wrestlers in all of AEW. Even without a title on the line or any real stakes, this managed to be a great main event to close out the show. It was a little overbooked in spots, but not enough to keep it from being enjoyable. I'll give you the 4.25 stars, but I think 4.5 is a little bit reaching, especially with the finish. So 4.25 stars, I will give you that. So there isn't much more for me to say on that. So
you lead off on the overall review.
Yes, sir. If it wasn't for the Cargill match, this would have you easily could have talked about a possible 9.5 here, but because of that, I'm going to bump it down to a 7.5 to 8. The Cargill match was a dud. It was a delicious squash as usual, but the other two matches were really good, and because of that, and based on the body of work, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. But if it wasn't for that Cargill match, if they had given us at least another solid match, we would have been talking 9.5. Maybe even 10. But this AEW Rampage tonight, MF, taped show, once again, taped show, was far better than all that BS and blah we got on that live Smackdown tonight. So 8 out of 10 for me, MF.
8 out of 10. I totally agree with you. We're just going to briefly get into NXT Wargames, and we're going to start it off with the 3 matches that has no implication to Wargames, and then we'll get into the Wargames matches itself. Duke Hudson versus Cameron Grimes, hair versus hair. I'm going to go with Cameron Grimes. I think Cameron Grimes is going to win the match. So, Florio, go.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely going to be Cameron Grimes. I mean, I think the way they're setting it up is going to go with that. So, yeah. It's going to be Hudson. But then again, I mean, you never know. Duke could easily win this. I mean, and this feud erupted from a card game. Grimes seemingly embarrassed Duke Hudson. Oh man, now I'm having I thought it was going to be Cameron Grimes, but I don't know. I think they might be grooming him for a makeover. I don't know why, because of the hair and the beard and the whole 9 yards. But Grimes is certainly a fan favorite, with his rags to riches story. There's been a noticeable investment in Duke Hudson for some time now. A serious Cameron Grimes will be on display. But in the end, you know what? I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think he's going to get the makeover. So I'm actually going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go with Duke Hudson. But if Cameron Grimes wins, I would not at all be surprised. So give me Hudson. I think they're grooming him for a makeover, MF.
All right. Next thing, we got Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Roderick Strong versus Joe Gacy.
Roderick Strong has reinvented himself with the help of Diamond Mine. Strong defeated Kushida to win the title. but in recent weeks seems he was void of any cruiserweight challengers. Strong is feuded with Kushida, Odyssey Jones, and now Joe Gacy. Gacy's mission is to create an all-inclusive NXT 2.0 for everyone. His cringe messaging has made him a polarizing character and not in a good way each week. The telltale in this match will be the influence of Diamond Mine and Harlan, who have yet to become physical with one another. Rumors are swirling about the Cruiserweight title being scrapped altogether, which may be a good idea since 205 Live is anything but that nowadays. Without a concrete plan for a new title in place, you could easily expect Diamond Mine to help Strong retain. And personally, I want Roderick Strong to retain, but we've preached about this on Wednesday Night Mayhem. I don't know, MF. I got this bad sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach that Gacy's going to steal this damn thing, even though I want to see Roderick Strong retain it and keep it. But if Gacy wins it, all the history and legacy of the Cruiserweight Championship of the world, especially bringing it back with the Cruiserweight Classic 5 years ago, and then 205 Live on top of that, I think the days of that are. I think we're in the end days.
Yeah, it's going to be
in the end days
because of the fact that there is a rumor of a possible open weight title coming to NXT,
like in Japan,
with
the never open weight.
It looks like there might be an open weight title possibly coming to NXT, which means any weight class does not have to be 205. You can go from 205 all the way to heavyweight, and you get to fight for that belt. That means mid-card guys. That means main eventers. That means, bottom of the barrel all the way up. That might be something that might be interesting to do, because that would bring something. But also, could that also devalue the North American Championship? If you think about it, because, to have three main titles going at it like this, would that be a smart idea to do? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm with you guys I'm with you where I'm pulling for Roddy to win this, but I also got a bad feeling. And as a matter of fact, I was the first one to call it.
Yeah.
That I called for Joe Gacy to win the title.
Yep.
Even though I know I got major resistance, not you, but major resistance from Michael Bullock.
And get ready for an epic Phenom rant Sunday night.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get that shovel ready and then some. So.
He might throw me into the water, make me go in there 24 times.
He's probably going to have a tombstone or two ready for you.
Yeah,
and maybe me too. I don't know, but anyways, I want Roderick to win. I do, but in the grand scheme of things, especially after that dirt sheet that came out, it's got to be Gacy. I'm sorry to say.
All right, one other match we got to go into before we get into the War Games: Imperium versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner for the NXT Tag Team titles. I'm thinking I gotta go with Imperium. I don't know why. I just feel like Imperium's gonna win this. Anthony, I'm just gonna give it to you.
Imperium became the first team to defeat MSK and dethrone their championship reign in the process. While the tag team division has gotten deeper in NXT 2.0, their first defense will be against the odd couple of Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, who have formed a bond in recent weeks. We know the WWE loves their mismatch pairings, a la RK Bro on Monday Night Raw, but Imperium has been booked dominant recently, with O'Reilly's contract set to expire and Wagner's recent appearance on Friday Night Smackdown as the somewhat heavy for Adam Pearce and or Sonya Deville. This new tag team could be short-lived. O'Reilly comes up short in his quest to become a 4-time tag champ, which he was with Roddy and with Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole in Undisputed Era. Imperium retains in their first title defense. So winners and still NXT Tag Team Champions. Imperium. Matt is sacred. Move on.
And now we go into the War Games. We start with the women. Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray going up against Toxic Attraction, the NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose, NXT Tag Team Champions Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, and of course Dakota Kai. Remember, Anthony, in this one, Team Raquel Gonzalez does have the power play, though.
Yep.
Who wins the Women's War Games?
The first War Games match to form took place within the women's division. Since Mandy Rose returned to NXT, she's taken over the entire women's division. Now Toxic Attraction has all the gold and is arguably, and I've said this many of times, arguably not just the biggest act on NXT 2.0, but the best damn thing going on NXT 2.0. And it's not even close. They partnered with Dakota Kai, who returned to end her former partner Raquel Gonzalez's title run. Gonzalez will team with former champions Io Shirai, former women's champion Io Shirai, and NXT UK women's champion Kaylee Ray, and women's division newcomer Cora Jade, all of which have had their problems with Toxic Attraction. This match will feature a ton of high spots, likely led by Io Shirai, but the edge should go to the more functional team, Toxic Attraction. Shirai and Gonzalez have a documented rivalry, and Gonzalez got the pinfall over her during the last War Games match. It's also worth noting that Dakota Kai is known for big War Games moments. Dakota Kai will be the ace for her team in this matchup, despite not gaining the advantage for her team. So the winners of the Women's War Games match, Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai. That's who I feel should go over in this. So, but if the babyface team goes over, I would not at all be surprised, especially Kaylee Ray. But I just got to go with Toxic Attraction right now. I feel like I agree. Said, biggest and best thing going in 2.0 to date.
And I totally agree. I think going into this, I was going to say Toxic Attraction going in. I was a little worried after we found out that they got the power, that Raquel's team got the power play. But normally, whenever you get the one man advantage or the one woman advantage, that doesn't necessarily mean you're winning the match. I mean, I'm trying to remember whenever the person had the one up, if they ever went on to win the match. I know they did a few times in the War Games, but I don't know if it's every time they had gone on to win it. So we don't know. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. And then the main event, the men's War Games match, as it will be Team Black and Gold, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight goes up against NXT 2.0, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. This has the setup that this could be 2.0's night. You know, obviously they want to give the moment to the younger talent to say that this is the new NXT. And even though I personally would love to see Black and Gold win it all and get the win here, just to solidify that, hey, this has always been NXT and the Black and Gold is the true home of it. I kind of feel like now they're going to be transitioning it to the younger generation. You know, we've been talking about how this is not the same NXT. And I do believe this time around, I do believe when it's all said and done, 2.0 wins. So give me 2.0 to win it, Anthony. Final thought.
You know, you make a great argument. You really do. The match of the night. This I believe will be the show. I believe this is going to steal the damn show. This match of the night epitomizes NXT 1.0 versus NXT 2.0. The NXT 2.0 standouts taking on the talent who have helped carry the ship these past years. Braun Breaker won the advantage for his team, and the only thing stopping him from being NXT World Champion is time. While NXT 2.0 has had its fair share of criticism, there's no doubt a future for the 2.0 talent in this match. Carmelo Hayes is already North American champion. Tony D'Angelo is over with the audience, and Grayson Waller can promo and is generating a reaction. The NXT vets could very well be taking part in their last big NXT branded pay-per-view / special. It's no secret that Johnny Gargano is in contract talks and extended his contract just to participate in Wargames. While we may never get another Ciampa versus Gargano rivalry, we get a mini DIY reunion here. Pete Dunne and LA Knight fill out Team NXT 1.0 with both taking issues with 2.0 superstars as of late. Violence will be the theme of this bout, and if 1.0 loses, it'll be an official passing of the torch. The NXT 2.0 team will have an advantage with Trick Williams around. It would be nice if a certain 3-time NXT champ showed up to make this a 5-on-5. There's a huge investment in 2.0, but something just feels like 1.0 isn't completely dead just yet. I think they pull one more out over the rookies. So I'm going with Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, LA Knight, the NXT originals win the match. But like I said, just like I said with the women's match, I would not at all be surprised if the 2.0 heels were to go over here. So I got Toxic Attraction winning the women's War Games, and I got the originals, the NXT originals. Even though LA Knight's not a full-fledged original, the other 3 guys are. And I believe, and especially that mini DIY reunion, I think will be the little nudge that pushes them. So I'm going with the originals to win, but if 2.0 wins, I would not at all be surprised. Wrap it up.
All right, and we will indeed wrap it up. We are done for tonight, and that means, we're going to start it. We're going to be doing a new episode tomorrow, as it will be NFL Saturday. And like we said, Anthony has said it, the whole card, and it will be bookend by the game of the week, the New England Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. We'll give you all the coverage on that. Of course, Monday night is another edition of Ridiculously Raw. Oh, that's right. War Games recap on Sunday night. I apologize. And then Ridiculously Raw on Monday night. So, with that said, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern.